And Steam are finally becoming some vague description of pro-consumer. It's great. But we'll talk about that later in the show.
Origin are doing refunds.
Probably. Because people are starting to say, oh, I got retweeted by, favorited by, I'm not even going to try and read that out, it's some Russian name. Groovy.
Send me the Russian name.
Bliet.
Basically. Right, okay, so it looks stable. I think we're live. For how long, I don't know, but we'll see. It's locally recording, so fuck it. Anyway.
What an age of technology we live in.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TMM podcast with myself, the Mining Miner, Bladed 1266, and Tom 5005. No, not again. This is the first time we're going. We didn't have any technical difficulties.
Yes!
Correct?
Yes!
Are we on the same page, Thomas? Oh,
Tom was like, yes, the first time.
Yes, of course. We totally did not have any problems before the stream. Anyway, it's been a while, and it's, I don't know whether I'll be alone in saying this, but it's good to be back.
Eh.
Meh. Yeah, thanks, David. It's nice to see you enjoy being on the show. God damn it. So, yeah.
All I get is bad comments from your fans.
I will make the occasional snide comment. But
no, I mean, from everyone that watches you always insults me.
Well, that happens anyway. It's par for the course. Anyway, let's start as we mean to go on. On wild tangents, such as what has everybody been doing this week?
Well, I'll start, I guess.
Go for it.
Recently, more specifically yesterday, I acquired Dark Souls 2 in the lovely little sale I got going on, and I loaded her up, and I was like, I understand that the community have said Dark Souls 2 is one of the, if not the hardest game to play.
Yes.
So I loaded her up, and I expected it to be difficult. You know, I wasn't going to attack anyone I didn't need to, and I was going to pick a nice, easy class. You know, I picked the Knight. He's pretty tough. He's got a lot of health. He's got a sword and a board. So, you know, I ran out. And I ran out of the house, and they told me to go and find some road to go on. So I was like, right, where's this road? And I looked over, and there was a little carved archway through some rocks. And I was like, right, that must be the road. So I walked in there, and I saw some big ass rhino footprints, and I was like, well, all right, then let's follow these. And I followed them, and what can only be described as a gargantuan pig troll monster was waiting me at the top of this hill. Okay. I was like, right, this is the first monster in the game. It can't be that hard. So, you know, I went up to him, and I jabbed him with my sword, and I dealt like 1/12 of his health. And I was like, alright, that's pretty easy. I think I can take this guy. So I dodged to the left, anticipating an oncoming attack. But oh no, he was smarter than this. He picked me up with both hands, and with 3 decisive chomps, just straight up killed me.
Yeah, it's, from what I've heard, it is difficult.
And then a little achievement in the top right-hand corner came up saying, "This is Dark Souls," and I was sat there like, yep, well, alright. Okay,
yes, they are very self-aware.
Self-aware. I mean, this is what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Dark Souls 1 on PC, and I haven't played it since after they removed games for Windows Live. Like, I've probably told this story many times before, but I've got about 45 minutes logged on Dark Souls 1. Probably about 35 of those was trying to get past games for Windows Live.
I had to suffer that through an indie game, but you know, thankfully it was only an indie game and it cost me like £3.
Yeah. I'm totally not stalling until I can get fucking YouTube to work.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Yes, David, you could tell your tale, I guess.
I was like, are you forgetting about me, mate?
No.
Basically, all I've been up to is new YouTube channel.
Do you wanna plug your YouTube channel?
That thing.
That sword rack, yes.
So
I give you an opportunity to plug, and you just brush it off like it's nothing.
It's fine.
Christ.
It's fine because the thing is, on my recorded videos that I've done so far, I'm telling them to go to see your channel.
Oh, awesome.
I'm being nice.
I'm all set up. I'm probably gonna... What do you stream offline? Stream's not offline. Chatty, stop being a twat. See, right.
Chatty is always that.
I use a little program called Chatty to monitor the Twitch chat as well as do other things. Every so often, it'll say stream offline for no reason. and I just panic, especially when I've been having technical difficulties. It's like, your stream's offline, and I just look at this, not piece of shit. Anyway, as for me, I've been playing Elite Dangerous as per usual and getting stuff ready for university because I moved down there it'll be a week tomorrow when I go to uni.
That is correct.
Indeed. So yes, I've been playing the Elite Dangerous beta, which is for CQC, and my god, is that a hell of a lot of fun. There's basically, there's no persistence to it, so there's no consequence to dying. You don't have to pay, Jesus Christ. We got somebody in chat asking to marry you, Tom.
Why?
I don't know. Do you know anybody by the name cat_Minecrafter?
No. Thought it might have been one of the guys. It's not.
Especially George.
Anyway.
George is Tom's favourite.
Yeah.
No, George has disappeared.
I saw. He actually used to work where I do. Well, why I did really.
What, did he do work at St James's? Like, because he was working there last time I talked to him. Also, I think...
Last time I talked to him was he was working in home fundraiser in town.
Ah, okay. There we go. So yes, as I was... So yeah, the response to that by you saying one of the lads, they said...
Oh my god, I'm just going to go on Twitch.
Yes, go on Twitch. I don't have to keep
I want to
reading
go on
chat.
Twitch.
Anyway, so yes, it's basically just an arena sort of combat thing. It's really, really fast-paced, and I love it. It's really, really fun. Speaking of which, the open beta is out next week, and I hope to get some of the lads together, David, hint, to play the open beta of CQC. It'll be fun, hopefully. Maybe, possibly. I can't promise it'll be a good stream, but it'll be...
Elite Dangerous?
Yes.
I have a story about that.
Do you? You seem to have a bird on your shoulder.
What are you doing over here?
It's a regular feature.
I just like shut me down so quickly.
Shit, just like shit, I've been rumbled. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I have two friends, Jake and James, and they were playing Elite Dangerous. And Jake, he's got this really big, stocky, sturdy ship.
Yeah.
You know, the I don't know. I don't play the game. That's what he described it to me as. While James, he's got this little like zippy round fighter ship.
Yeah.
And of course, is kind of enemy of sorts, and they tried to like double team him. You know, James was doing all these maneuvers, and he kind of lost track where he was going, and he bumped into Jake, and instead of just kind of like bouncing off, he hit him, and then just exploded.
Yep, that happens.
Jake had this massive ship.
Yeah, especially if Jake has a much bigger ship, because I'm assuming it'll be something like the Python and the Eagle, I would imagine. That's what it sounds like. So yeah, an eagle bopping against anything is just going to explode because it's made out of tissue paper and bits of balsa wood occasionally. It's a good little fighter if you know how to avoid things. And that's exactly why I don't fly it, because I don't like those and I can't avoid shit. I just like to tank everything. But yeah, at least
Doesn't
fun.
everyone?
And CQC is going to be great, hopefully. I mean, the only issue at the moment is the matchmaking sucks because there's no players. Because it's literally just the beta testers, which is basically everybody who backed it in the Kickstarter and sometime soon after, and then anybody who bought the lifetime expansion pass. So there's not that many people. So it takes about 15 minutes to get into a lobby, and it's a nightmare. So hopefully, when everybody jumps on it next week, we will see matches speeding up a bit, and some fresh cannon fodder to annihilate.
Tom, how tall are you? Should I bring my stool to the wedding? Tom?
I don't know, you can measure me in birds.
I'm 4 feet 11 inches of pure shortness.
Anyway, are we gonna start on the first topic then? That sounds like a plan, because we haven't. Oh, we've actually not hit the 10-minute goal of the usual bollocks at the start of the stream. We're only on 9.5 minutes. Anyway, GTA
You haven't got to a topic yet.
Yes, I know. We usually
was I interrupting you getting to a topic?
At least 10 minutes of bollocks. God damn it. Anyway, so GTA 5 is adding an entirely new way to play for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So, essentially, what we've got is free mode activities. So usually on GTA 5 you'll have jobs, and in those jobs you'll be loaded into a lobby, and then you'll be put into a private sort of game in a specific area. Not anymore.
Yeah.
With these ones, it's literally you're in the free mode, wandering about. You start an activity, and it starts. No loading screen. It's in the same.
Like what are they called? What are they called? Dynamic events like they had on Red Dead.
Essentially, yeah.
Where you'd be riding along and there'd be like a woman like, "Oh, help me!" and you'd have to get off your horse and just
Yeah.
like shoot the bandito.
Yeah.
Except it's not with NPCs; it's with guys.
And it's a bit like the little vigilante activities in Watch Dogs. It'll just be like somebody getting mugged or somebody robbing a store or something, and you have to intervene. It's all in the same session, so you
Yeah.
can free roam about. This thing happens, and you can seamlessly just do the activity and then get back to driving about or whatever you're doing. So it's pretty cool, especially because the GTA Online netcode sucks. Well, not necessarily netcode, but like getting into games. Like it'll try to load you into a game, but it'll take you out of your previous game beforehand, before confirming you can get into the new one. So it'll occasionally, well, I say occasionally, it'll quite often just go, "Oh, we couldn't connect you," and it'll have to connect you to a whole new lobby, and it'll do that about
Like
5
if it
times.
fails, it puts you in limbo.
Essentially, it'll either try and find a new session, fail, then drop you to the single player, or it'll just drop you to the single player. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say on this. It's
I don't know. I don't play GTA. It's kind of like
Yeah, I didn't.
never something I
like,
was into.
Yeah, I didn't like most of the old GTA games. I think the only one that I really enjoyed and played through was GTA San Andreas on the PS2, and then later on. Actually, no, I was going to say later on the PC, but I didn't play on the PC because the PC port was horrible. So yeah, that's GTA, and it's getting new functionality, which is gonna be fun.
Shall I talk on my topic next?
Yes, sure, go for it.
Which one's
Alright,
Kingdom
it's
Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts
I know
1.
nothing about
Alright.
Kingdom Hearts, so I'm giving David this.
Basically, what happened was Kingdom Hearts 3 got announced that it was going to be there for like 2017, right? And on the same announcement, when Square Enix basically had the Kingdom Hearts 2.9, and they thought that was like, they didn't really think anything about it. They thought that wasn't real, all that. And then apparently a few weeks later it got leaked that Kingdom Hearts 2.9 is actually a real thing. Pretty much what they're doing is they're taking parts of the video from the third trailer and moving it onto Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
Yes.
That's pretty much all that they're doing with that one. People aren't happy about that, and they think it's pointless because like you got to buy 2 extra games. But whatever.
Well,
That's pretty much the gist of it, really.
It's Squeenix. They're not known for good business models. I mean, they sell by far the most expensive mobile games ever. Like they'll sell as if it was full priced on, say, a PC. It'd be like maybe $6, $7, $8 on a mobile, which nobody's willing to pay. Like let's talk about that for a second. The culture around mobile games, because people are more than happy to pay for games for a console or for their PC, but people aren't necessarily willing to buy games these days on their phones. And I was just wondering if you guys
yeah, they have put this like they wanted to put it on iTunes as well as Android to play on, which I think is a stupid idea, of course. But
well, yeah, I mean,
that's my general thought.
Having the same game on mobile and on consoles and PC, either traditional gaming platforms, is nearly always a bad idea. I mean, the same thing happened with Deus Ex: The Fall, and we all know how that went. Because they ended up just developing the mobile game and then bringing that to PC, and they did exactly. Yes.
You're killing Tom. Stop talking about it.
Better yet, they didn't change any of the UI elements, so it was all these big, massive, finger-friendly buttons for a mouse, and it was all completely redundant. It was unbelievable. So yeah.
Like when you do Flash games. I mean, I'm not saying all Flash games. I mean, Super Meat Boy was great. It's because they changed things. They put in like 1 million extra levels. Which when you do with something like I don't know, that apocalypse game where you have to kill everyone and you're a virus. Like, you didn't change anything.
Well, I wouldn't
You
mind.
basically paid for a Flash game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind having the same, like, say, let's take Deus Ex as an example. If they were going to do the same thing with Mankind Divided, I would be fine if they sort of made the PC game or the console game, and then essentially took some of that experience, turned down the graphics, make a different interface so it's a bit more touch friendly, then put it on mobile rather than the other way around. Then fine.
Yeah.
That's how it should work. So then you've got a good game on a platform that can run it instead of getting a mobile game and bringing that to PC, because that just makes for an inferior experience, and it's ridiculous.
I know what you mean.
Mobile games aren't fun.
So that's just that, really.
Yes.
Speaking of Square Enix,
yes,
you were talking about their business models. One of them really sticks in my head is, you know, Tomb Raider.
yes,
Yes.
What they did was, you know, they released Tomb Raider, and that was all fine. I bought the game; it was brilliant. I played through it, great. And then you know, they obviously released some DLC for it.
Uh-huh.
But the DLC was like 90% of the DLC was for the multiplayer, like
Right.
extra maps, extra
Yeah.
weapons. But they released it like half of. I released it like, say, 7 months after the game's release, which was
Yeah.
kind of when the multiplayer. The multiplayer aspect of the game started to just slow down. You know, no one was
Yeah.
really playing it anymore, and this DLC wasn't enough to bring people back. They were putting all this money into developing DLC, and no one was buying it.
Well, that's the issue. I mean, there's two fundamental problems with that. First of which is, obviously, they're releasing it very, very far after launch, where the multiplayer is going to die down. And
Yeah.
if it's essentially a map pack, then it's going to fragment the already very small player base anyway. So there is literally no point except for a desperate cash grab to try and capitalize on one game a bit more, rather than moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
Also, I've never seen Tomb Raider as a particularly multiplayer game. I mean, that being
It's
said,
not.
the last Tomb Raider game I played was Anniversary on the PS2. And
I love
enjoyed
that game.
one, and it was good. It was a good experience. It was single player, and it made sense. It's similar in a way with me to Assassin's Creed. I enjoy, well, typically, unless it's Unity, I enjoy the single player experience, but the multiplayer seems tacked on for the sake of it being tacked on, to try and get people to play the game for longer and to buy things in the in the multiplayer.
I liked Brotherhood's multiplayer. But that was probably the only one.
Yeah, I didn't play too much of the multiplayer because, as I was saying, it didn't sit right with me. I might have to check it out at some point, but if Unity did co-op well, co-op is a thing that would make sense if it's done
It's
right.
not a real co-op though. It's kind of like 4 people can go on the same map with, you have one singular objective, but you all just kind of split up and do your own thing, and then somebody completes the objective and you're like, oh well, that was the mission, let's get some rewards.
Well, I mean,
I think
go on.
I was going to say that I think the only Assassin's Creed game that I actually played was the second one. That's the only one I actually ever played.
Well, see, this is the thing. I'm glad I didn't just play one Assassin's Creed game, because I played Assassin's Creed 1 on the Xbox 360, and it was pretty bad. Like, from a gameplay perspective, it was just so repetitive. It was like, you've been dropped into the Animus, go and do these 3 things, find out what guy you've got to kill a guy, come back, rinse and repeat
Kill a
about
guy.
about 10 times, then have the last cutscene, uh-oh, game's over, hope to see you in the sequel. Whereas Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and to a lesser degree Revelations was my favourite trilogy in Assassin's Creed. It really, really worked well. And Ezio was a good character. Altair was not a good character. Connor Kenway was not a a good character. Edward
Shut your
Kenway
mouth, yes he was.
No, he was the most
Shut your mouth, yes he was.
two-dimensional, boring
Shut your mouth.
piece of shit I've
Shut your mouth, he was a
ever
pirate.
seen.
Pirates are cool.
No, Connor Kenway, not
Pirates
Edward,
are cool.
not Edward Kenway, the pirate. I'm talking about the
Pirates.
Native American in Assassin's Creed 3, not the pirate in Assassin's Creed 4.
Oh, no, the Native American, he sucked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Edward Kenway was a good character. No. I'm talking about the other Kenway.
Of course.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Does anyone?
No. That's the thing with this show. We sort of go down a sort of tangent, and then we don't know how we got there. It's brilliant. Anyway, next topic. Samsung, in their infinite wisdom, have announced 12 gigs DRAM for mobile devices.
Because you need that much.
Why? You don't like.
Because fun.
Like they're coming with 6. Like there's phones these days coming out with 6 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of RAM. You don't need that. That's PC levels of RAM, and that's because you do a million things on a PC at once. The way Android and the way iOS handle multitasking is fundamentally different from something like a PC, where it doesn't keep everything in RAM because phones aren't meant to have a shit ton of RAM.
I think the reason why, and this is just my perspective of this, do you know the updates constantly, the amount of space they take is ridiculous.
Yes, but this is talking about RAM, not storage space. Like I'm all for having phones having ridiculous amounts of storage. Like, I could essentially use it as a memory stick by that point. I mean, my phone has 32 gigs of storage on it, and that's fine. Would I like to have 64 or 128 gigs of storage in it? Yes, because then I could just store everything on it and carry it with me all the time. But RAM, that doesn't need to have ridiculous amounts, because phones will never be able to utilize it.
There have been points where I've been on my phone, and it has frozen up a couple of times. But it'll be when I'm on an app.
Yeah.
And I'll press the home button, and then I'll press the home button. I'll quickly go to another app, and it'll kind of go like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
But that happened maybe once, twice a month.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly the thing. Like, Android isn't good at memory management by any stretch of the imagination, and that's why phones with 4, 6, 8 gigs of RAM have come out, because Android is really inefficient, but it's not 12 gigs of RAM inefficient. Like, it will suspend apps when you're not using them, so that it doesn't have all of this in your RAM, slowing things down and causing issues. So it's unnecessary.
Apparently 30% faster than the 8 GB versions.
Yes, I mean, well, that's just because they're changing it up to DDR4 rather than the DDR3, which has it has an inherent speed increase. So they don't necessarily need to have these capacities. It may be a limitation of DDR4, and they don't really want to go lower with
Surely
DDR4.
you could just upgrade the DDR and not increase the amount of RAM, and it would be fine.
Yeah, that's my thinking, but it's... Yeah, I don't understand Samsung's logic. I think it's just their MO as a company, just to be like,
It's kind of like, oh, look, guys, we've got 12 of these instead of 8, and people are like, wow, they've got 12 of those instead of 8 now, I'll buy that.
Well, that's what Samsung's been doing for ages. Like, with the Note line, it was basically to have a big, massive phone with a big, massive screen. That's why they did it. And it's shown in their software for years now. Like, they just want to shove all the features in without any sort of regard for user experience. Like, they show so many things like, oh, if you look away from the screen, your video will pause, or if you look away from the screen, your screen will go off. We don't need this! I've got that! It's called a lock button! I use that when I don't need my screen on. And if my screen goes off when I'm reading it, I'll turn it back on. It's just unnecessary. It slows down the devices far too much. That's probably why Samsung's trying to put 12 gigs of RAM in a phone, because TouchWiz is an unoptimized pile of crap. And that's why I never use it on any of the Samsung devices I have, because it sucks. So yeah, that's probably why. It's so Samsung can have a bigger e-pin, and because their software's inefficient as shit. Talk about Samsung. Apple. That's a thing.
I was gonna say, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, are we actually having a break, or we're just powering straight through it?
I think we'll just power through things, because we've got quite a bit of topics, and we are talking quite long on each of them.
Yeah. Oh, this next topic. Oh,
What? Apple?
Oh.
What's that meant to mean, Tom?
The first picture is what's it called? It's the iPad Pro or something.
Yeah, the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil.
Oh, the Apple Pencil.
We'll get to that. So,
Ooh, I'm ready.
yes. So, Apple, yesterday I think it was, had their big sort of Q3 event where they show off like the new iPhones and the new iPads and many, many other things besides. So, the first thing they showed off was the Apple Watch Hermes, which is basically them starting to be like, oh look, we can make designer smartwatches because we work with designer companies. It looks exactly the same as the normal Apple Watch. Literally the only difference is it's got a leather band and a different watch face.
Well, it's got leather band now. It's
Yes,
so
but
much
you can get a leather
cooler.
band anyway for the Apple Watch because they're interchangeable. And you can get the watch face by downloading it. You don't need to buy another Apple Watch for that.
Thomas' mind's blown.
Yeah, but if you were to draw a graph, the amount of Apple Watches you own directly correlates to your coolness.
Yes, of course it does. That's why the
See, we're all just uncool.
yeah.
I feel like.
However,
I don't know.
your hipster values also skyrocket. You just
Yep.
just as soon as you put your Apple Watch on, you end up in UGG boots and have a pumpkin spice latte on your hand from Starbucks,
You're like, oh,
Oh, no.
and the weird hipster glasses and everything.
Oh no. Stop giving me that image. I don't want that image.
Right, okay.
I'm gonna get nightmares.
I wasn't going to go back to the article view, but can I just show you this? iPad Pro is the Surface on steroids. No, it's not. Why would they say this? It's got same size screen, roughly the same resolution, and it doesn't run a desktop operating system like the Surface Pro 3, which is the one I've got, runs full Windows. This doesn't. So it's inherently it inherently has less capability than the Surface, and it's more expensive by quite a large margin.
the iPad Pro.
It's because Apple.
Oh yeah, well, that's a given.
It's because Apple.
Like the iPad Pro, you mean like the Surface Pro?
Yeah,
Comes
Well, that's-
comes
that's
with a
basically-
comes with a
that's
Yeah,
basically
comes
what
with a
everybody
keyboard
was
that's built
comparing
in- built into the cover.
it to. Yeah,
You mean like the Surface one?
yeah.
Also, it comes with a stylus, and I distinctly remember Steve Jobs once
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that your fingers are the best styluses.
Yep,
And
yep. Everybody's been citing that one as well, where he's like, nobody wants a stylus, you have to take it out and put it away all the time.
taste the irony.
Yeah. Well, I think ever since Tim Cook took over, when Steve Jobs died, and if you didn't know Steve Jobs died, he did. That's a thing. That's going to be a massive shock to people. Steve Jobs died? No way.
The viewer count goes down.
Yeah. But Apple's gone the wrong way since Steve Jobs died, honestly.
It was never going the right way.
Well, you can't help but commend them on the iPhone because that sort of kicked off the whole smartphone thing. Like everybody else has had the same sort of design, like a rectangle with a screen on the front and only a screen, not a keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was very BlackBerry-esque before then. It had a little screen with a physical keyboard. That's what it was like. And pretty much all phones before then were horrible. But everybody else jumped on the same bandwagon as Apple and just made slabs with screens on the front, and it was good. So I'm not saying Apple copies everything, but they have blatantly tried to copy the Surface with this. It's
not even subtle anymore.
yeah, they're just not even trying to hide it. It's literally just the Surface. Right down to a stylus. Let's go back to the stylus, shall we? The Apple Pencil, $100. Sorry,
Yep.
$99 because putting a three-figure number in there would make people just go.
You want
Except for anybody that has sense realizes, wait a minute, that's pretty expensive for a stylus.
It doesn't come with one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the Surface Pro.
My DS
style-
came with one,
Yes.
and I think I paid less than £100 for that.
Yes, but
And that-
I mean, granted, that's different technology. Like with this, it's got to have complicated internals because of the way the touchscreens work now. Whereas with the DS, it was literally just a bit of plastic.
Look at it.
But
The
I'm not-
conference they even had like a slide for like the keyboard, and they had a slide for the pencil. Like it had its own slide.
Yes,
It
'cause-
deserved its own slide.
hey, if it costs $100, the least I want it to have is its own slide. Jesus,
Damn.
fuck.
Oh yeah, and the keyboard would be separate as well. Yep.
Yep. How
Yep.
much was the keyboard again?
$169.
$169, yes.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, you what, mate?
I'm not going to complain too much because Microsoft tries to justify selling the Surface keyboard for, I think it's about £110. And I called them out on that before and said it was bollocks, because it is. And I mean, the Surface Pro 3 stylus isn't that much cheaper than the Apple Pencil, but at least one comes with the Surface as standard, so you don't have to buy it separately.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to buy the keyboard separately, but the keyboard's a much better implementation. It's not some stupid origami bullshit like it is with the iPad Pro. It's literally just a thing what flips around. It's not like you have to fold this into this place. You have to have like a 50-page instruction manual just to try and find out how the Apple fucking smart keyboard works. It's ridiculous.
It's because Apple.
Yeah, that's just all you can say about this. 'Cause Apple.
You know,
I'm not
just cut
surprised
my
by
arm and
anything that Apple
exchange that.
does anymore.
All right,
Heck,
next
Rich
thing.
is- I was gonna say, heck, Rich has got an iPhone, which I just like with it.
Yeah. My mum and my sister have both got iPhones, and I refuse to try and import them with it because I just get lost. Like, I didn't know how much a difference 2 extra buttons would make when I switched to Android, because like you just press the back button and it goes back, whereas on Apple you're like, how do I go back? There isn't a button for this. But yeah.
You double press the middle button and it shows you your history. So you can just go like
No, but I
one
mean-
to the back.
Yeah, but I mean going back like within an app, rather than like going between apps.
All right.
Yeah, it doesn't work too well on iOS, and I hate iOS so much. It's not even like the usual. I mean, like, oh, well, Android allows you more customizability. I don't care. I want it to work. But
As long as
at
it
the
works,
same
no one
time,
cares.
iOS doesn't work for me. It's just it treats you like a child. It's like, oh no, you're not. No, you're not doing that. You can't do that. Whereas Google's like, yeah, you can do this with your device, but if you break it, it's your own fucking fault. Yeah. Next thing is the Apple TV, and this was one of the announcements that I thought wasn't complete bollocks.
It's not even a games console.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
that's what they're starting to tout it as, like, oh, you can watch TV and play games. Like, why? If you want to play...
But it's not a games console. You can play Flash games.
Yeah.
You
can
play Apple apps.
Yeah, you can play mobile games on it, and
Yeah.
everybody knows how great those are. Especially blowing up onto a television.
Like they advertise like flipping, what is it? The Crossy Bird or something?
Crossy Road.
Crossy Road, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Sit down with a
Crossy
family,
Road.
play that, get some high scores.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to sit down with the family and play Crossy Road. No, that's a game you play on the toilet or on the
Yeah.
bus. That's not a gather everybody round the telly for this. Like, things like Drawful or what's the other one? Fibbage. Those kind of games. They're good family games. Anything like, say, on the Wii U or the Wii. They were good family games. Playing mobile games on the TV is not the way to go, and I can't believe Apple hasn't gone, oh, it hasn't kicked off very much with the Android side of things, i.e. Ouya, because, yeah, everybody remembers the fucking Ouya.
Bloody you, yeah.
I don't understand.
I just like how
man.
you mentioned the way.
Like, if they touted it as what it is, an Apple TV, a TV box, a set-top box, and nothing more. If they touted it as that, fine. But if they're trying to tout it as, oh, it can also be a games console. No, it can't. It can't play
You can
anything
try.
worth playing on the TV. Like, there may be
You can
the
try, but it won't
occasional one,
well.
but there's no reason to justify a dedicated device for that. It's
Yeah.
just... Oh, God, I don't understand it.
It's like why even bother?
Speaking of Crossy Road, they've got a little gif of it below. Yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
it's literally just Frogger. They didn't even come up with an original idea. It's
It's
literally Frogger.
it's 4 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't even explain what the game is.
Well, I think anybody would know if you say it's
I
Frogger.
think
They'll know
it's
exactly what
very
it is.
straightforward.
It's basically if Temple Run and Frogger had a baby. It's essentially an infinite runner, but you're crossing roads and rivers
Look at the guy playing it. He's pressing one button on a remote. He's doing that.
and yeah.
This is not a game. This is like a finger exercise.
Yep. Oh. I just scrolled down to the iPhones. So
Yeah.
Everybody knows my stance on the gold iPhone. I said it was the most tacky thing known to man. But somehow Apple outdid themselves once again and made it even more tacky. Fucking rose gold. It is the most disgusting fucking colour I've ever seen.
So what is the difference between the 6 and the 6 Plus?
The 6 is... Well, the 6 has got a 4.7 inch screen, whereas the 6 Plus has a 5.5 inch screen. It's essentially bigger.
It's a bigger screen.
Yes. That's essentially it.
Are they turning into like a TV?
I'm just gonna laugh if it eventually goes out here. They're like, hello. Hello.
like the iPhone 12 will be the size of the iPad Mini. And then the iPad will be the size of a TV. You need like the dedicated Apple holster just to carry it anywhere. You can buy this accessory for only $499.99.
Just imagine how far the speaker and the mic would be away from each other.
Hello, wait a minute, and then just gotta like pull it through your hands and be like, "Yep, I can hear you now." What are you gonna say? What? I can't hear you. You're too far away from the microphone. And people will lap that shit up. Fucking Apple fanboys.
I'll just cry for Apple right now. I'm gonna cry for Apple.
I think I need to get a drink. I think the only thing that came out of the iPhone, the only way they've genuinely innovated in the past probably since the original iPhone, is was it 3D Touch, where it can essentially sense pressure. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, with that Google. Oh no, that's the most annoying thing. I'll be on Google Maps and it'll be a nice 2D view, and I'll be like, yes, I see everything, and I'll press something the wrong way, and it'll go like whoop, flip to 3D, and I'm like, oh, why?
Yeah,
it's useless. It is useless.
That could become a problem.
It does not have a use. Why does something need to be 3D? How can it be 3D? It's on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
Because 3D.
I'm not wearing the glasses.
Yeah. And it wouldn't work well for like my mother, because she's awful with her phone. Like, she'll type like using her finger like that rather than with her thumbs, and she'll always hit the screen really hard. So she'll probably, if she had an iPhone 6s, which is not because she just got a new phone, which is an iPhone 5C. But anyway, she wouldn't understand this. It's like, oh, why does it do two different things at the same time? That's stupid. She's allergic to change, so that would just confuse the living daylights out of her.
Well, by the way, Connor, as pre-warning you this, if you get an iPhone that's near me, I tend to throw them.
Yes.
I don't like them. I tend to throw them.
Another bit of bollocks. The live photos feature, which is essentially a moving picture. And I couldn't help but think, GIF? Or video? It's like you can capture
pictures.
You can capture your moments in motion.
What skullduggery is this?
Witchcraft. It's just the most stupid. It's one thing I really hate about watching the Apple conferences is they'll always make it out like they're the first people to do something. Like, look at us, we made moving pictures. No, you didn't. They've been around for ages. It's called video.
Moving picture.
Oh my god! Like it's even
not video.
It's even got sound. Although it's not even just a moving picture. It is literally a video. Moving picture with sound equals video.
It's like going in a loop. We've surpassed the age of technology. We're now going backwards. And we're getting to the point where we have rediscovered the video.
We're just the human race has run out of ideas. Therefore, we're just retracing all of the old ideas.
Yeah.
It's like we invented video. Wait, didn't that already exist? Yes, but we've got no more ideas, so we're just reinventing everything again. Next we'll be going back to 144p and using .3GP.
The wheel.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing, the Apple wheel.
Okay, we already have wheels.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty much all the Apple announcements. And I have no intention of ever buying an Apple product in the near future, especially if they just keep going like this. Yeah, I mean, the 6S is always going to be an iterative release, because it's basically the same as the 6, except with some internal upgrades and maybe a new feature, possibly.
Yeah, at most they'll have like 2 new features. The only way you're going to get some real benefit out of upgrading your iPhone is if you do it over like 4 generations.
Well, I think that's why they do it, because you tend to have 2-year contracts. So somebody gets an iPhone 5.
Yeah.
Then 2 years later they can get the iPhone 6. Or if they do it the other way around, they can get a 5S, and then when their contract's up, they can get a 6S if they want. So it makes sense in that respect, but I don't think the iPhone needs a yearly iteration. It's unnecessary.
I still think it would be funny if they made one the size of a house. Just imagine go running back and forth from there.
There'll just be the iCoffee table at some point, because Microsoft already did that years ago with like the original.
Oh, don't
Surface.
jinx it. Don't jinx it.
He's like,
Glass.
don't do it.
Imagine that, just a table running iOS. Why? Why?
Siri, can you bring me my food? No.
No, Siri can't, because Siri's useless. Alright, on the subject of the Apple TV, it wasn't completely not bollocks, but yeah. Apple TV apps limited to just 200 megabytes. Again, why?
The storage, or...
Yeah, the app itself can each individual app can only store up to, it can only be as big as 200 megabytes, and they can't store any additional information on the device. It has to be streamed from iCloud.
Wait, well, you're gonna have it. It's not like a phone where you take it around everywhere with you. It's gonna be there, and it's gonna constantly have an internet connection.
Well, this is the thing. Maybe it won't. I mean, my internet connection is unreliable as shit. So I can't...
Virgin.
Yeah, because it's Virgin Media, but still. That would essentially mean that most of the features on your Apple TV would not work without an internet connection.
Yeah.
Because they say, where is it? Here we go. There is no persistent local storage for apps on Apple TV. That means every app developed for Apple TV has to be able to store data in iCloud and also retrieve it in a way that provides a great customer experience. Now, what baffles me is that Apple have... The most recent version of the Apple TV has 32 and 64 gig options. So why the hell are apps only limited to 200 megs? It doesn't make sense.
Is there like a record
I already answered
program
this.
option?
No, there's no DVR. It's all on demand. So it'll be apps like YouTube and Twitch and
why?
iPlayer and Netflix. I don't know.
Thomas' face.
It makes no sense. Like, I mean, people can argue that, oh yeah, it's for storing videos and pictures locally so you can play them. But leave it up to the people who want to store those videos there. Don't force the limit on developers, and then have people streaming everything from iCloud, because some people, especially in America, have things called data caps. And if you're going to be able to exceed your data cap on something that could otherwise operate without an internet connection and without streaming from the cloud, then why not go for it? Especially when it's got 32 or 64 gigs of storage on it. Because that's more than enough to do everything you need to do. And if it's not, just get network attached storage or something similar along those lines. It's just a classic case of Apple making the decision for the consumer.
You got the internet connection. The internet connection, the streaming.
Yeah.
From 64 gigabytes.
Yeah.
200 meg cap. None of this is.
It doesn't make sense. Like, especially since they don't do the same for the phones. Like, phones can store all of the information an app can need, and the apps can store things persistently on the device.
They don't even justify it.
I know. Well, Apple doesn't feel the need to justify things, do they? They can just put
They're just
bollocks
like,
in
we
place
know
and
what's
people do
best.
it.
Have fun.
Yep. They're incredibly limiting. Like, if I was ever to go into app development, which I'm not because I don't know how to program, but if I was, I would not program for iOS. People are always saying, "Oh, programming for Android's harder because of all of the different hardware configurations." It's even more difficult on Apple because of all of the bollocks they put in place. Like, even I was
You're just swimming through a sea of pure, unrefined bollocks.
That's a mental image and a half. Yeah, I mean, I think NerdQ put it best because he's been developing a game for Android, for Android and iOS, and he even said that it was much easier to develop for Android than it was for iOS because there's not that much bollocks for Android.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just make an app, publish an app, it's on the store. Whereas Apple's like, you have to pay something like 150 quid a year just for a membership, otherwise your apps don't get on the store, and then we've got to do a check, which takes like 3 weeks. And then even then we've got these limitations, you can't do this, and this with your app. And it's just, it's insane, and I don't understand it. I mean, the example here is quite good as well. Where was it? The Xbox Live arcade limit for 150 meg games was lifted in 2008, and that was only when the 60 gig version of the Xbox was released. So
Why?
they were allowed to store big games on the Xbox back then, when it was only 60 gigs, and
Yeah.
it's similar storage these days, and they can't store it on the device.
Why do they advertise both? They say like, oh, you know, internet connection. You should be streaming your films, your music, your videos. You should be streaming all this, and then they say, oh, by the way, we've got 64 gigabytes for video and music files.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, the way they're saying that storage is for music and video and pictures is bollocks, because people will store their pictures on iCloud or Google Photos. They'll stream their movies and TV shows from Netflix or Hulu. They'll get their
one or the
music
other.
from
Pick one.
Spotify. So, specifically making storage for local video, especially when nobody has local video anyway, is just...
It wouldn't allow local video.
It doesn't. I don't think it will. It'll sideload everything.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, sorry, it won't sideload everything. It won't be able to sideload any... Oh, shit, wait a minute. Can I help?
200 megs.
That's funny.
I couldn't do too much of that. It might be copyrighted.
Tom,
Yeah.
I've got a link I want to send you.
Is it in the sky?
Yeah, I'll send it through just Yo, so Connor doesn't get it if he's getting interrupted. There you go.
How and why?
What do you mean? How? What, you mean why send it or what?
What have you done? What's happened?
Just send me a link of how a cow got stuck sideways through a chair.
There you go. I'll send you the link on it.
Oh god, what's this?
Like, firstly, it would have to tilt its head to get in there. What was it after on the chair? I mean, there's obviously something being split there on the arm.
That is the face of an animal that has made a terrible mistake. I love it. Oh, that's great.
No, it self-released itself.
2 fire crews were called to free a cow who got his head stuck in a garden chair.
It self-released itself. They were unneeded. It was a waste of time.
My ribs.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh my.
Oh, man. Anyway, are we going to get back to tech news?
Are we going to show the podcasts this?
Well, the cow I already did.
Ah, did you? Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh my. Oh my. I haven't
Alright.
left this hard in a while.
David, do you want to talk about Fallout? Because I don't know anything about Fallout.
I got it mostly for Tom, so you can speak about something.
Tom, do you want to talk about
Want me to
Fallout?
speak about Fallout?
Go for
Well,
it.
oh good God, video stop. Why?
No, video please! I thought I was logged in.
Copyright. Stop.
Yeah, I'm going to sign in so it doesn't do that. Actually, is there any more IGN links? Because, no.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
majority, I think.
Yeah, we've done all the IGN stuff. Anyway,
Oh.
carry on.
This is the first I've seen about this new video. The last video, last video I saw. I have been keeping up to date with kind of Fallout news a bit, but the last video I saw was from the E3 release, I think.
Mhm.
So, you know, someone got the E3 leak, and they put it on YouTube, but then they were like, oh, let's take this down from YouTube because we don't want people seeing our trailer that isn't ready yet. So the guy just put it on Pornhub, and it wasn't taken down because who's gonna look there? Who's gonna look there? No one.
See, I've seen pictures of that floating around. I thought it was fake.
No, it's on there. It's probably still on there.
See, I would I would go and look for it, but I don't really want to go on Pornhub. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Yeah. What? Okay. Yo, there's Fallout. Oh my god, it's actually there.
It's still there. It's still there.
Can you send me links?
No. What? Where's that noise coming from? Oh, shut up. Fucking porn ads. Anyway,
Can someone send me a link?
do you legitimately want a Pornhub link put in the Skype? Fine. Okay.
Well,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not putting it in the Twitch chat because that will get my account closed. So I'm not doing that.
That video is just kind of like it's the gameplay video. It shows you the starting area, it kind of like the quirks of the characters, and it gives you some. I think it gives you some power armor gameplay where you just got the chain gun. You're like, duh, 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 duh. It's kind of like the same archetype as the rest of the Fallout games, because all the Fallout games have kind of been similar.
Yeah.
So far, they've just changed. They're kind of like, the minor changes, like the character, a little bit the storyline. The world's been the same.
Yeah.
Breaks down your attributes. So what they've got here is 7 attributes: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck.
Yeah.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. Those 6 are the same from all the other games, but the new one is acronymed as special. This is new. Choosing which ones will play for the choice. Not from this article. I don't think much is given from this new special.
Yeah.
Special attribute, but if what I can see is just kind of like special.
I don't have any comment on this because I've never played Fallout, so I've got nothing to say.
I've played a few of them, but you can kind of imagine. You can imagine what strength, perception, endurance, all that stuff does.
Yeah.
Special. Oh, what is that?
So yeah, so strength, perception.
Yeah,
I mean, the abilities themselves are pretty self-explanatory. But it's just
Special.
it's interesting that they're putting a luck mechanic in because people are going to complain.
Oh, there's a wiki. This is gonna help me. Special. Oh, what's this?
No, Tom, that's
Tom needs to know.
Should we talk about the next topic while Tom's working things out?
Yeah, because we've only got 5 minutes, so...
Well, we've got 8 minutes, technically. Yes, Windows 10
Yeah,
is...
go on, I'll read up.
Go. Windows 10 is sneaking onto Windows 7 and 8 installs without people's permission. So, as most people may know, before Windows 10 release, there was a Windows update, and it would put a little Windows icon on your taskbar, and it would be like, get Windows 10, reserve your copy today. And you could do that, and Windows 10 would download, and you could upgrade when it was released, and that was fine.
Wait. I figured out. I'm an idiot. I counted 6. I meant 7. All those things I listed, it was actually 7 there. Special, it's just an acronym for literally strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck.
See, I knew it was that, but I thought you'd already gathered that, and I was just letting you do.
No, I did.
Do what you were doing.
But this new system kind of is a drawback to the original Fallouts.
Yes.
Whereby, you've got throughout the games there've been significant differences through the attribute system.
Yeah.
This new special attribute thing defaults at 5 points per attribute.
Yeah.
And you get an additional 5 points on start, and you get a total of 40 points. And the way they've made these new attributes, I mean, I'm not going to read them out. I mean, we post the articles at the end of the podcast, and you can read them yourselves.
Yes.
But strength, the stronger you are, the more items you can have. Dish out more damage in melee weapons. What I can remember, I think they changed it so that strength is strength used to be like in the first game. Strength used to be like you could hit harder and carry more.
Uh-huh.
And well, what it's saying here, dish out damage with melee weapons. But then they changed it so that strength was kind of more generic, where you had higher health and more damage. I think it was just based like that. And then there were separate attributes which increased your carrying capacity and your damage with melee weapons or fists, like that.
Yeah.
And I think that got a little bit too complicated.
So
I think they're just kind of bringing it back.
Yeah. So what I'm gathering from this is basically it's a skill point system. So you'll get X amount of points to spend on various things at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And then you can earn them throughout the game to upgrade various aspects. Is that what it is? Yeah.
And different classes depended on different what points you had. And it's just kind of like they're making it a lot more simple. You know, it's one of the drawbacks about Fallout 1. No, sorry, I'm gonna say Fallout 1 and 2 is that the point system was really complicated. Like, unless you had to know what you were doing going into the game, like you had to be like, right, I'm gonna put my points in here. I'm gonna focus on hand-to-hand combat. This is what I'm gonna do. And if halfway through the game, if you got to a point you were stuck at with the archetype you were building, you were like, well, you know, you were fucked. But with this new archetype, you kind of like, points mean more. You get more points, you get more for your buck. You know,
yes.
You're a lot more flexible. Yeah. So if you get stuck at a certain point, instead of having like 10 points in strength, instead of just being, you know, more damaging with your fists and higher health, you know, you can do more points you can do more damage with weapons and carry more, which means you might be able to sneak up to someone if you've got extra points in agility. You know, I think it'll just make the game a lot more straightforward and fluid.
Yeah, I mean, I think Borderlands did skill points really well, because you would put skill points into various different abilities, but you could respec at any point, so you weren't locked into.
From what I can remember, you can't Fallout.
Yeah. So you could literally just be like, take all the points off this, and I want to do something else with it, and that was fine. It gave the game a lot more flexibility, and it was great.
Yeah.
It's just
as I said with Fallout, if you didn't know what you were doing, it wasn't flexible, so you just got stuck.
Yeah, that's the thing about skill points and why they don't sit right with me, is it because it locks you into a particular playstyle, and especially if you haven't played the game before, if it's an iteration in the franchise of another, like say Fallout, if you're just going into it, you don't know what you want to do, what you'll be good at, what you'll be bad at, because you could end up putting all your...
You don't know what's ahead of you. You know, you never played the game. You don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You don't know your strengths, you don't know your weaknesses, you don't know what to expect, among many other things. But you're expected to know that at the start when you start specking up your character, and it's just, I don't understand.
You know, I suppose this system just kind of gives you a little bit of a safety net.
Yeah. All right, should we quickly blitz through the last few topics? Because we've only got like halfway through and we're nearing the end of the show. So Google takes on Apple with Android Pay. It's essentially the same thing as Apple Pay, only on Android.
Yeah.
Very similar concept. It's coming to the US, and most of the major banks will support you adding cards to Android Pay, so you can use them just like Apple Pay.
They're just kind of catching up.
Yeah,
really.
Basically. I don't really need to.
We're talking about the Windows 10 one.
Yeah, I've done Windows 10. I don't know why we skipped over the Android Pay one. Anyway, what the creators of short games think about Steam's refund policy? Most of them said it was quite good because it would filter out a lot of the negativity. Because basically, if somebody didn't enjoy the game, they would refund it, which would remove their ability to review the game on Steam. So it would filter out a lot of that toxicity. But some of them were saying that the limit should be dynamic. It should change depending on the length of the game, like, say, Stanley Parable, where the game can easily be beaten in less than 2 hours, so somebody could get it and just refund it. But
complete it and then send it back, and you're like, oh...
I mean, this is one of the things I wanted to open up to the floor was, would you guys get a game that lasts less than 2 hours and afterwards refund it? Would you
No.
even consider doing it? No. I wouldn't either.
No.
Like, I mean, maybe if I didn't feel the experience was worth the money.
You know, hopefully
maybe.
it's got replayability.
Yes. I mean, I don't mind paying for short experiences. I mean, I enjoyed
Yeah.
Brothers. I mean,
As long as
it's
they're
not
good
worth.
experiences.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say Brothers was worth its. How much? How much is it? It's like it's
$8.99 or something.
something like that. It's either £9 or £12 or something like that. I wouldn't say it was worth that much, but I would say it was worth.
If it's on
about
sale,
£3 on
get
sale.
it.
Yeah, I bought it for like £3 when it was on sale at one point, and I would say it's well worth that. It was a great experience, and I wouldn't dream of refunding that. But if I don't get a good enough experience, then yeah, I'm gonna refund it. Anyway, Trying 3 devs open up about transparency. They published a video that acknowledges all of the various faults in Trying 3 because it's fundamentally different from everything else in the series, and they were talking about
Fundamentally how?
talking about early access, because you know how Trying previously was just a side scroller.
Like a 2.5D
Yeah,
kind
it was essentially 2.5D.
Oh,
side
trying.
scroller.
However, in Trying 3, you can go back and forth. You can essentially go backwards.
3D.
Yes.
Kind of.
It's yes.
Well,
it's essentially it's fixed
it has-
perspective 3D. It's
Yeah.
still technically a side scroller, but you can move back and forth.
But
in the
you can
environment.
tilt. Yeah.
No, you can't tilt. The camera's fixed on the 2D plane, but you can move your character back and forth to do.
Oh,
various
I get what you
models.
mean, yeah.
Yes. They also talked about early access. Like I said, Trying 3 didn't need to go on early access because early access is for new franchises testing the water to test demand, and for typically sandbox games, they'll work extremely well on early access because
You
players
get a
will-
lot out of them.
Yeah, because you'll have pretty much the fundamental
Still got a
experience
player
from the
base
start.
like 1 year into development after your early access.
Yeah, and I mean, Trying 3 wasn't suited for it because it's the third game in a very well-established series, a well-loved series. So it
Yeah.
didn't need to gauge user interest, and it didn't particularly need bug test. It was literally just it was a demo. That's all it was. It was a demo. And
I wonder how long it'll take for me to break.
it didn't sit right with them. And the final thing was complaints that they essentially padded out the game because it's a lot shorter than the previous games, and they've essentially padded it out with like challenge modes where you've got to do this thing to get these tokens, which then unlock the next chapter. Which that's never sat right with me. That's very mobile game-esque. That's like things like Cut
Yeah.
the Rope did that. Like you've got to collect this many stars or you can't move on to the next area.
Mario did that as well, the new Marios.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, like you
Um,
have to collect a certain amount of stars to get to the next area.
Yeah, it's.
And I was like,
it's
I don't want that, I
ridiculous.
just want to play Mario.
There's a difference between giving a game longevity and just padding it out to the point where players will get very disinterested in it. Next one, Alienware will give recent laptop buyers a free upgrade. Essentially, if you buy a laptop now, one of their newest models, and the new Intel Skylake processors come out within the next 30 days, you can upgrade for free. So,
Yeah.
you're not stuck
Sounds
paying
right.
like £1,500 for an outdated PC. Well, the PC that'll be outdated in 2 weeks. And finally, Xbox Live Indie Games is shutting down. I don't see this as a bad thing at all because Xbox Live Indie Games was a cesspool of crap.
That's true.
Let's take games like The Slaughtering Grounds, like Guys of the Wolf, like Day One Gary's Incident, and just amplify that by goodness knows how many times, and just stick them all into one place in the darkest depths of
Yeah, it was pretty
the Xbox
cancerous.
360 marketplace, and just let them do it. Like they've got ID at Xbox, which is their new indie developer program, is so much better. So I'm not gonna miss it's like Games for Windows Live. I'm not gonna miss it in any way. It was a thing, but it was an inconvenience, and it was a cesspool,
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the topics we have for this week. I need to go fairly quickly, so we'll run out fairly quick. So thank you all very, very much for watching. If you want to check out any of the other links, they are being dropped in the chat now. There you go. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. See you later.